Hi everyone, it's the end of the MPO, of the day 2. People have just finally out the door, collected their minis, gone off. It's been a nice couple of hours since the awards now. Everyone's just been monging out and talking about models and criticising you for not giving them medals, and
tried the best.
It was good haul though. Particularly, I thought the standard of standard was very good. Make sense?
Yeah, I think that when we sort of pitched doing a competition, should we do a competition? The worry is, will people come? And will there be a variety of stuff at different levels, because you kind of have to, and will the level be high? You have no idea. And we put so much work into doing a special best of show. I was sort of like, wonder if there'll be something that'll stand out.
And not necessarily an easy. I mean, don't get me wrong, the piece that won it was clearly, but there were a lot of exceptional pieces, right?
Yeah. So it wasn't distinctly obvious from looking around what was what.
So that was right, because there isn't it with all of this. There's elements of completely out of our control.
Well, a first show is you don't know who's going to turn up.
Completely unknown.
And if I was a punter thinking, this is a new show, would I go? Doesn't have a reputation yet. It's brand new, so I guess I feel really grateful that people trusted us and what we're doing. That they came with stuff, and that was amazing. Really.
But also, that's why our 2 priorities for this year was make sure the comp's right and make sure the vibe's right. And we're literally not even finished yet. But I think them 2 bits went well. But we'll find out. We'll find out with the feedback. Yeah. So you don't want to listen to us too much more. Let's talk about pretty things. Standouts for you, and why didn't the Owl Dungeons and Dragons Owl win everything?
Well, I think we'll start with the best of show, which is Arnau, and
we'll go up here somewhere.
And we're in a world where we see miniatures every day on Instagram all the time. We've done miniature paint for a long time. It is harder to get wowed, and that piece really, excited me.
Was it quite a unanimous decision with the judges?
It was completely.
So say what you were saying earlier about how it stood out in multiple areas as the best of.
Yeah, so there was a handful of pieces that we talked about for the best of show, and there was some amazing stuff. If you just look at what won gold level in painting, it was amazing. They're all worthy of a best of. But there's obvious areas of painting like faces.
You say there's obvious. Go on, talk about it a little bit. So what?
You've got those areas of painting, and I think what Arnau showed, he probably had the best painted face. And painting a bust is hard, and painting a female bust is harder. And as he probably did the best one, non-metallic metal is a technique we've all heard of. We've seen a lot of non-metallic metal, and he was probably the best non-metallic metal in the competition as well. And I think what really pushed it above is the use of ambient light. So he had some white, the white cloths, and had yellows in blues,
it was cool.
Purples, but it worked and it felt natural, but it also had the wow factor. And balancing all that, making it feel natural and not like cheesy with loads of colour. But it was just amazing. So
there was a lot of nice things said, wasn't there? And so I guess this is it. There are standouts, aren't there? Some of them are just because it's a fun mini.
Yeah.
But some of them are. There's just things you hear over the weekend that get repeated. Oh, have you seen this one? Have you seen that one?
Well, I think
and Arnau's was
best of creative as well. I think got everyone's heart.
Absolutely, we'll put that up there somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
Here.
But I think that we're quite proud to bring this competition to the Southwest.
Yeah.
Being in Bristol, and we chose this city because it's an amazing city and kind of our home area. But it was kind of cool to have something very, very,
very local. Yeah.
Also,
just up the road in South Gloss.
Also, really good how it was how it split the group. There was a 25 minute discussion about that. Last night when we got to the judging.
So even with a judging team of 3, it was still it was too hard, wasn't it?
And
it was your guys' decision ultimately, but
it was really cool to have everyone sort of putting their point across and really discussing why it was so.
It was a proper debate.
It was great.
It was good, man. And again, I'm glad we did Best of Creative. I think it is such a valuable
It's a really special award.
award. And also it's quite a broad title, so that the piece that it was up against was completely different.
Yeah,
which again makes the judging challenging. But it's, we gave Roman Lepat's Knackered Old Car Best of Creative, didn't we, in the online comp? So I guess in my head I was like, it'll be something like that. It'll be an old tractor or something will win like Best of Creative. Yeah. But actually it's a lovely Games Workshop setting piece. Yeah. But it had all the creativity too, didn't it? Yeah. So I think, it was a lovely.
The Best of Creative, like we talked about Best of Show, and you're talking things like ambient light, non-metallic, all that kind of stuff. But then Best of Creative is different because you can be like, what gives you the best feeling, or what's exciting. And sometimes people can do projects at that maybe that it's not so great in other areas. But I love doing Best of Creative because it just allows to award that one side of the hobby. Maybe if you just have a pure painting competition, amazing stuff doesn't get stuff when actually it's the thing people talk about. Yeah. So I'm really proud of doing an award like that.
It's worth pointing out as well is so think of Roman's one from the Christmas Online one, which people who won golds, that's going out this week. I'm really sorry, a bit busy. This is Christmas. But this one, Ross, I think his name is, isn't it? Ross's one. They're both still exceptionally well painted. It's not like the Creativity Award is that's
you have to paint it that well.
You still have to paint it, right? It's just, perhaps, as you said, the very, very top end technical stuff isn't as critical in that if the imagination can.
Well, you're looking to excel in one area, and that is the creativity side, and that was it was from the standard level. And it wasn't.
Was it?
Yeah. So it wasn't in Masters. So the Best of Show is from Masters, and it was excelled in all those areas. And then that piece came from Standard.
And the piece, though, that was up against it was Masters, though, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, good to see. Cool. Any other pieces that stood out?
If we're talking about standards, we've got to talk about the green Marshall. Fat Sid. It reminded me of kind of when we first started going to hobby shows and seeing stuff and not really sure who painted it, because now through the benefit of going to lots of shows and knowing brilliant people in the community who are brilliant painters, you tend to recognize, if you don't know the piece when you see it, you tend to know, I know who painted that. We know some very, very good painters that go to shows regularly, so it's quite easy to identify who it was. But there was a palpable buzz around yesterday when everyone had saw this model for the first time, and it was who painted this? Where are they, and how have they suddenly just appeared out of nowhere and just gone, cheers?
Well, when the heavy metal team turned up, I said, which one of your guys did this? No, none of
no
us.
idea.
And I was like, need to get this man a job.
Yeah. So seeing that was really good. I really like the buzz around it and everyone talking about it, and also then to find the backstory to it. Yeah. Loveliest bloke in the world.
3 years in or something.
3 years into painting. First stab at non-metallic metal.
And we're always like, don't enter the comp with your first go at something.
Yeah.
Well, that's now out. Sorry, out the window.
Yeah. So it was great, and seeing everyone's reaction to it and seeing it because it was placed with the heavy metal team stuff. So seeing it in that
was that just
group.
Pure accident.
Pure accident.
That's hilarious.
He literally just. Yeah, I saw it. He just went and just plonked it right there, and it was just in a really good spot, and it was just really cool. He was the loveliest guy in the world.
Fun,
yeah, he was like, "Oh yeah, cheers. I was just trying fairly hard. I've never tried non-metallic before, so I thought I'd give it a go." I was like, "Cool. Well, I'm never going to paint anything ever again. Cheers."
Yeah, it was. The finish on it was immaculate. Probably had one of the best finishes. So yeah, really, really cool. And I love doing a show like this where you can award something that excels in that one area.
Yes.
But then something else that's very different style. And I hope people can see that we've awarded things with very different styles.
Yeah.
They're just excellent in whatever they're trying to do.
Yeah.
That's my real hope with the judging.
And the to look at the Green Marshall compared to Arnau's piece, two completely different ways of painting, but both equally, if not amazingly, standouts. Yeah. So it's great that's the mix that we can get.
Yeah,
it's good. And I do want to bring, because I know it bothers you, it's worth chatting about, you, Rich Gray, Albert Font, you guys are excellent judges. And when certain people have commented on, oh, just like that misinterpretation of, if it's Golden Demon, only heavy metal wins. And you go, okay, well, let's look at the last 10 years. That point is invalid. This, as you said, just because you all paint in certain ways doesn't mean you can't appreciate, other styles. And I think that's the difference, again, between having great judges and great painters judging, if that makes sense. And it is worth saying, Andy and Rich and Albert, like we haven't really seen each other this weekend until this point. We had dinner last night, but we were a bit monged out.
Falling asleep
at
that dinner.
We're a bit tired.
We were tired.
But Albert, Rich, and Andy, all you did all day
That guy.
was judging.
That guy.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's fair to say that everything got its fair.
I think we did
its fair dues.
we did over 2 hours on standard painting alone.
Yeah.
I think we almost got to 7 hours judging. It was a real pleasure doing it with those guys. We had some, not arguments, but some debates, and they're fantastic.
Oh, there were a lot of first time painting event goes, which is amazing. It's what I wanted. Absolutely, the great painters will come if it's a good comp.
Yeah.
I want to find the new ones, right? That's a big goal. But because obviously you guys were judging whilst it was all live and everyone was looking, we would shift people away from one stand and they would judge on this stand. There's another one lurking behind the camera.
Yeah.
Some people made the mistake of of milling about near where you were judging. And may have heard the judging language that you needed to use to initially get through.
I will say, like we had to judge over 400 pieces in a set amount of time.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can be quite hyperbolic, just like, no, you've got to be cutthroat. Sometimes.
That's it.
And then you start getting into the longer conversations when it's tight.
But also I was going to say is so don't hang around judges when that's happening. And the reason we've put so much time, hours after the awards that we just finished now, is so you can then go and talk to the judges, and they will explain things like that. So if there was anyone who heard things that might have made them cry, I'm not saying they did. They're fine. The first timers thing, I'm well chuffed at that. Like just whether it was first time at an open style contest, but also I think a lot of people either first time since Golden Demon, and now they're talking about wanting to go to the other non-Games Workshop painting competitions, which is huge, right? So
I think
very happy about that.
You just got to
you don't know, do you?
Up to the
You just don't know.
style, and they see the benefits. I'm pleased.
So 200 odd people. Can't remember what it was. 210, 220, something like that. Australia's our furthest, I think,
which is crazy.
And the winner of Best Creative lives in Bristol, so
Ah.
so it was very easy for him to take his whopping great prize bundle.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's what I talk about
you
as well. As I'm really, really pleased in what we've managed to do for
the prizes,
the medals, and the best.
I hope we got mad. Did we get shots to the prize table?
It's there, so you can.
There's only half of it on there now. But we were quite so we've done medals to everyone, but everyone that won. But we don't work with many other brands. Like we get offered as Cult of Paint weekly. Oh, do you want to use our stuff? Do you want to do this? And generally, it's
thank you very much, but no.
Yes, it's not something we want. We don't want to use crap, so we won't do it. So the people we have partnered with or have been
I literally softballed it in there for you.
You see it, right? But the point is if you do believe in something, we don't have many brands. My point is the people we work with, we really like their quality product.
Yeah.
And they all stepped up for this contest. Redgrass sent us stuff. They've supported us since day one.
Yeah.
Harder and Steam Deck, again, the airbrushes. So the Best Creative and Best Show, they got, as well as their awards, they got a brand new painting lamp from Daylight Company, Cult of Paint Infinity airbrush, big Redgrass bundle, palettes and whatnot. Lovely Artist Opus brush set engraved, like Best Show, Best Creative. It means a lot, doesn't it, to be supported, and these Daylight Company stepping up with all the lighting, not just prize support, like we'll light the event. It's massive. So like if you like what we do, it's because of those people supporting us as well.
And I hope that
kind of thing.
What we can do now is we've done a show, and that means next year we can just take everything forward, right?
Absolutely.
So we've got proof of concept, and then everything we can do is just improve it.
But I was getting confused because Albert and Matt behind the camera are making eyes at each other. But the best of show prize, which we haven't talked about at all, the design that you'll have seen on the back of the black t-shirt or the stickers, the Goblin Cultist, was created by an artist called Mark Gibbons, who, if you've been in the hobby for any length of time, you'll be aware of. So we reached out to him to see if he'd be interested in doing the art for it. He was, because he's lovely. And Mark's a digital artist now, so he created the piece, and then for the best of show prize, he printed out the original concept sketch for it, signed it, numbered it, congratulations on it, shipped it over here from America. We had it nice and framed up, and that was also the best of show kind of prize. But it's that holistic approach as well, right? Like,
I'm so grateful for that, because it was when we were talking, and I sort of had that dream of like, I want to do a piece of art, because trophies are awesome and happy with the medals, but I really wanted best of show to be something you hang on the wall and happy with. And we were like, well, who's the dream artist for that? Mark Gibbons, of course. And to be honest, it felt like a dream. Like, I'd like Mark Gibbons to be the best of show prize. And I still I can't believe that we did it. And for me, I didn't anticipate my feeling of holding that prize when we're giving it out, but it was like when you care so much about a comp.
Right. I kept together on them Zoom calls with him. It's like, don't fanboy. Don't
just freak out.
Stay prof.
It's like the Make-A-Wish of prizes, isn't it? Original Mark Gibbons piece of artwork for somebody.
I just didn't think I was so proud
without
of
gushing
holding
to it, it is a real dream. Like, Mark was lovely to work with, and I think we're going to work with him for next year as well. So
giving that out and holding that and announcing that was my favourite moment of the whole weekend. And I thought it'd be fun, of course, but I was quite overwhelmed with pride and happiness, and it was just amazing for me to just hold that and give it out. It was super cool.
It was super cool.
Buzzing now to do another one.
I know, right? And it'll be Bristol 2025. We'll announce that soon.
So next year, what do we want to achieve? What do we want to build upon?
I think the big thing is bigger and better, but still keeping the vibe that we had this year. So we had a lot of people come up to us and talking to us, because our goal when we set this out was to have a show that had a really kind of relaxed, chilled vibe to it, where it's just a group of hobby enthusiasts interacting, talking, and spending time together talking about the thing that we really love.
That's the idea, isn't it?
It's the goal.
It's supposed to be a meet. You can call it a painting competition, but actually it's a meet and a display. And so we didn't have any or many activities because it's about socializing, but I still think next year in a larger venue, I would like to do more things, more seminars with amazing people.
Yeah, absolutely.
But now we've done one, we can go to people, I think, and we can do this stuff. So I'm really happy with everything we did. I feel like we achieved what we wanted in the first one.
I hope so.
And now we build and we do more and get it better for everyone.
But just the goal to keep that very chilled vibe that was very present, and a lot of people very kindly said this is a really, really relaxed, chilled environment that's just really, I think about everyone at ease. It just made it was like a bunch of mates.
It's what you get when there's a sausage dog puppy wandering around.
There's a dash, and that
tends to relax everybody.
Absolutely.
You just want people to be able to see all the minis clearly. No glass. And be able to converse with everyone.
Absolutely.
I'm really happy with that.
I'm good. I'm glad. So more of that really next year.
Roll on next year.
Yeah. So I think, before it gets too self-congratulatory, the biggest thank you really, other than to everyone attending, is we're a very small team, can't paint, and obviously the people you see work incredibly hard, and that's why we managed to achieve it. But behind it, there was another crew of about 10 of our friends who worked their arses off this weekend without us asking. Really, we thought they'd just be there to carry boxes in. And they've done everything.
Shift.
So
full shift.
we can't thank them enough. Sort of for it. So or just hit the mic strong up. But I think that's the biggie. So we'll keep posting stuff. The online gallery will go up soon, within a week or two, when we can get it sorted. So it'll be there on the Miniature Painting Open website alongside 2020 online, 2023 online. The next MPO will be Christmas, like we did last year, winter. So online 2024.
Online MPO.
And then this time next year, we will be doing another Bristol MPO, in-person Bristol one. So,
see you in a year.
anything you want to add?
Thanks.
No.
Thanks to Richard Gray and Albert Morato Pont.
Yeah.
They were amazing to judge with, and judging is hard work, and they put a lot of hours in. And to be honest, it was my dream team, so it was an absolute pleasure. And it's just a sacrifice doing judging, a lot of time just to do that, and I loved it. So
And thanks
And
very
I
much.
I don't want to mention them by name, but there was a lot of exceptional painters here who were giving great feedback
Yeah.
after the show.
Yeah.
And not arrogantly, not like that kind of thing, but for them to give their time up to talk to complete strangers and give them tips and tricks like that was pretty epic. So thank you to those. They know where they are. Thank you them.
And for me, my biggest thank you was just everyone that attended.
Yeah,
Thanks
big
for coming
time.
to the show. It was
you're
the
a good
first one.
bunch.
We weren't sure how it was going to go, but it was the success it was because of the fab people that turned up to it. So massive thank you to all of you.
Right. Thanks, guys.
Wicked.
Take care. See you next time.
bye.
So, hi everyone, it's Henry here again, and joining me is head judge Andy and winner of Best of Show, Arnau. Welcome, boys. So, we're going to have a little bit of a natter about Arnau's piece, and I apologise now if it's a little subdued because we're knackered, but it will be fine. So, I figure it might as well be a starting point, and we'll start with you instead.
Yeah.
Why Best of Show?
Oh, on the spot. Why? Right in front of him.
Do a bit of ego massaging to ease him
Will
in.
make you feel good.
All right.
Yeah, like I said, we were filming bits from the day and what we enjoyed, but there were just several parts on it that were kind of the best painting in that type of thing. So we thought it had the best non-metallic metal, the best face, the best use of ambient light, and it just had all these elements together to produce this stunning piece. So it just excelled in many areas.
Well, let's break it down into them then. So if we look at it as the face, as the NMM, and as the ambient light, by which you're also talking about the colours in the clock, because that was I was like, oh, look at all of that. Were those three elements conscious focuses for you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there we go then.
Very much.
Bosh, that's how we do it.
Yeah, talk to us about your plan or your thought process with the ambient light and the colours in the cloth, because that's so interesting.
Every time I start a piece, I try to do some research about artworks that convey the same feeling I want to convey. And in this case, I found a few anime style. They were not angels, but kind of Valkyrie angels thing, and all of them had the same colors. These sunset colors, orange, purple, blue, which are the classical colors, and they work very well always. And because Isidro, the owner of Black Robe, asked me to paint a very light-oriented version because Lan was doing the dark version. So I tried to do something like holy and conveying that sky thing. So those colors are almost like what I had to do, almost.
So you had the palette inspired from that just classic sort of sunset kind of thing.
Angel, sky. When you think all those things, you have those colors in mind.
Yeah.
That's cool though to hear you say that, because when I was looking at it yesterday evening, it was my first chance to have a look at it. Angelic was like in my head, I was like, that's got a big angelic vibe to it. Kind of thing. Obviously, she's a Valkyrie, I get it, but it's still that they represent a similar thing in mythology, don't they? And that's cool. It's always nice when it's not by accident.
Yeah.
It's very, very deliberate. I think something that a lot of people will be impressed by, because it's something a lot of people love obsessing about, is the non-metallic metal. So we obviously love how you do non-metallic metal, because it's one reason why I've asked you to paint a box art for us that's not going out for a little while. But is that something you love doing? Like, did this piece present you with an opportunity to continue progressing with that?
Yeah, I think every time I try to do a non-metallic, I try to do a different non-metallic than I did previously.
Yeah.
Because, it's very easy to fall into the same patterns in non-metallics. It's such a difficult topic but it's such a broad chance to do. Like you can do crazy things with it, since from the most subtle metallic to the most crazy reflective metallic, and in between there's a lot of things like these polished but not so polished metallics, which are the most appealing to me. I'm not a fan of the highly reflective metallics because
not chrome.
No,
More
because
like
because
armor.
as we can see the paint, I don't like basing my paints on the picture.
Yes.
I need to like my paints on my hand, and I feel like that reflective but not as reflective metal works very well in hand and both in picture as well. So yeah, in this case it's quite reflective but not as maybe as Kirill's or stuff like that. But the sword is a bit more reflective. It's slightly more polished than the helmet. I don't like to do all the same metallics in the same figure, so to not feel like a armor tier from an RPG.
I think that's it helped towards it winning because the non-metallic in the sword was so beautiful and eye-catching, and then the helmet was different, and then even things like the back of the helmet, me and Albert were like, look at the back, this is super cool because it's got other colors and different things, so you had so much more interest. Like not every bit of the silver is the same.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that made it stand out. But yeah, I remember me and Albert just going, look how good the back of the non-metallic is that people won't see.
Well, it's the fun of
Presumably
silver,
Rich
right?
wasn't involved in that element.
Oh, he liked the back as well.
Really? Oh, I heard he wasn't a fan of.
It's the fun of silver non-metallic that you can influence it with colors without complicating your life too much. If you influence yellow, so gold, you start getting into trouble, with blues becoming greens and then reds becoming muddy colors. But with silver, it's just fun. Just add colors and it's.
Well, I hate to ask because I know it's going to make me feel bad, but how long did you spend on this piece?
From Monday to Friday.
Oh no!
But you need to hurry up, mate.
I'm terrible.
We need to get you on. Yeah, hurry
do
you up.
something nowhere near as good.
Yeah, wriggle on.
Quadruple time. Monday to Friday, so like 8 hours.
Literally last week.
Yeah. So you started it last Monday.
It was.
Do you know that's going to make all of us watching and myself feel even worse?
Is it? I mean, we'll talk to you more about this when we get you on to talk proper. But just briefly now, is that something that has developed? Because it's been really. I found it really exciting watching you come onto the scene. Round about the same time we started doing the podcast and stuff like that, and I kept teasing. I was like, "Oh no, it's so hot right now! Like this is the one to watch." But then to watch you go like to where you're on at are you quicker now because of previous work, or have you just always been a relatively fast?
Yeah, I think
painter?
I've been very fast always.
So you spend the same amount of time, but you're better.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, exactly. I think because of my way of painting, it's quick. It's just a quick method, let's say. And it's not like I look for it or I want. Well, I need to because it's my job, right?
Yeah.
But it's a consequence of how I sketch and refine the sketch, and it's done like magically. I don't intend to clean or I don't intend to refine. It just happens.
Do it till it's done, and then that's the time spent.
Yeah.
So I won't get too bogged down into it, but I'm thinking Monday to Friday. So how have you done that so quick? But how long would you spend on, say, the face?
Monday.
So you go Monday face, and then you finish and then move.
I don't plan to have. I'm gonna do this Monday to Friday. Whatever happens. Usually the face I like to have half a day.
Yeah.
This one was quite complex, so it took me a whole day.
Oh no.
But a whole day. Well, yeah, maybe. But for me, a whole day with a face, it's a long time.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the face then, because I know it's one of your favourite things to paint, and I know that particularly you, a year or two ago, got very, very focused on the difference with painting female faces. You reached out to people like Mark Maskelyne and be like to talk about it. So that's the third element that you picked out of. This was the best face in the show. Let's talk a bit about that then.
Yeah, I think it's just the softness you have to get into a female skin. I think what made Arnau stand out is again the color in the face, but feeling natural. So it's very colorful, but it felt realistic. And small details like the freckles. Didn't see that in, I don't think, any other piece in this show. So you've got details you're not seeing in others and things like that. So I don't know if there's anything interesting you can tell us about the face.
Well, I always painting female faces is probably the most fun I have in painting overall. You have the freedom to add so much color, and I use a lot of fluo colors in the faces, in female faces, and then also the eyes, of course. You know, it seems weird to think about it, but there's so much chances to do things in a female face than in a male face, and then in this particular case, the sculpture is quite complex. There's a lot of volumes around the face, around the mouth, around the eyes, and finding those volumes and tweaking them, because, for example, the face on that figure is not very Caucasian, the mouth. So if you highlight a little bit under the lips, what you make is flatten it instead of making it more prominent. If you make it more prominent, you soften the features.
Amazing,
yeah. Some parts need to be softened, some parts need to be enhanced. But finding those things is what I enjoy the most. And in female faces is how you can change the same sculpture. You can do different like characters, or you know, with the same face.
Wow.
Got it. Nice.
Amazing.
So, because we'll keep it short and sweet, but did you have a favourite piece that you saw this weekend?
Yeah, well, everyone, I guess, was talking about it. The green.
The Marshall, right? Yeah. Again, I
was-
mentioned
What
it
do you think
earlier.
about
Fat
them?
Sid,
What are your
pH.
thoughts on it?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this inspires me because I'm quite. I wouldn't say the opposite because I'm not a brushstroke painter, but yeah, I'm more on the artistic side.
Yeah.
Let's say, I don't know how to say it.
Painterly.
Yeah. And these things is like, why? I mean, we should be able to just merge both styles.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah.
And obviously this needs a lot more time. So it inspires me to be able to just reach that level of crispness in bigger pieces, and you know, imagine this level of detail in Seagram, like
Yeah. Probably take you more than a week, though.
probably a few hundred more. Yeah.
But sometimes I think like your bust maybe wouldn't suit that crisp style, and actually things like keeping it super crisp works with a small figure. So it is
Yeah,
different.
but when I mean crisp, I don't mean necessarily, because it's not about outlining. Oh, you know, in figures like this, the crispness comes of finding small volumes, not finding them because sometimes they are not there, but just adding them.
Yeah.
And how small you can go with a volume, how nuanced can you go with a slight differentiation in the volume of the mouth, and you know, and a wrinkle, and you know, all these things that you can add. This is the level of detail that you can add in a bust.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow. Amazing. Well, thanks for coming. Thanks for entering.
Well, it was my pleasure, and it was a really great event.
And congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Obviously, we'll have Arnau's socials up here. It does a podcast as well. And we will definitely be getting you on to chat later on. You're wonderful. Thank you ever so much. Take care, everyone.
Ciao.
See you next time.